Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And add on this. Because there's no excuse when a South African charges you and you don't counter charge.
Oh, it's just the echo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, sure, maybe Otherwine I can somewhat give you a break, but South African for
it
South
doesn't
African, no.
matter like about that. For instance, like the ping doesn't influence your like what. For
Yeah.
instance, if they're charging, yeah. But anyway.
You had 0 counter charges.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it losses a lot of fights. And then we have so be very specific today, as you can already tell.
You are gonna upload this, right?
Yeah.
This is uploaded.
Okay.
And then I will add more if I think about it.
Okay.
This is just bandit, so. Dizzy.
Can you not see it, Dizzy, I presume?
No, I can just like if I wanna watch later. And my,
Oh, yeah.
I'm worried like my net dies later.
For you, Dizzy, it's ability uses with brackets priority and what to eat according to the enemy win conditions. For example, you eat Moira Orb and you get naked.
Yeah.
Not the best of things, same with fire strikes. Sure, important, yes. But if they have other win conditions, especially in Brawl, that fire strike is nothing more than a bait, so games.
These mind games are like in the 1v1s.
Not necessarily 1v1s, it's mind games in general. On understanding what the enemy wants to do, all 6 of them. And then specifically your own job, you can like be like, these people not that important for me, so there's a priority list on that. The fire strikes are pretty low on the priority, like neutral, yes, you eat fire strikes, but after neutral, are fire strikes still that important? This theory about how you should be focusing your DM management. Then obviously we have this is just a generic thing because it's just generally bad.
Okay.
Let's get that 20. The flank coverage. Lots of theory words today. You did do it once on Gibraltar. I saw that, and after that you stopped doing it. 20.
Yeah. With Venomine?
Yeah. Flank coverage is Venomine. I'll bracket it for you and just. My brain still has to wake up. It just worked overtime. Makes sense as well, right? You're a bit slow on this.
Yeah.
You do make the right decisions sometimes. That actually adds to this. This is it's a big one. That's how you lost Oasis Garden. After that, they just rotated ults, and there was nothing you could do. Okay. Bit of that. Pretty obvious to you, Brandon?
Yeah.
Any reason for this?
Well, I'm feeling kind of ill today, but
Okay. We've made it very clear that if there's something going on, you tell us before the scrim.
okay.
So I will not take this excuse. You had the chance to use it. The scrim is already over.
Does hero ability like mean Torb E and all that stuff?
Yeah, just
Okay.
simple.
And the hero value is like knowing why I'm playing the hero I'm playing.
Yeah, but also why you're staggering. Like, why would you stagger on a certain hero? Like, what value is your hero gonna get from you trying to survive a fight is already lost and trying to hide from the enemy when there's nothing you can really do, even if your team recontests?
Okay.
Don't worry, we're gonna go over it in the VOD. This is just do this before the VOD. And going hero mid fight. Yes. And then noise. This kind of relates to echo calling as well. And then we have lazy. That was a big one. You should have been working on it for a while now with lazy. Sure, it's banned, but any reason your Inspire is getting nowhere?
I don't know, I just suck at the game, I guess. No excuse.
Okay. Did I even end up giving you that video?
Not in DMs, I don't think.
Our last DM was in January, so
Yeah.
That one's on you.
that's fine. The video is not that impressive.
I
Here's
did
a
watch
while.
some Overwatch League games where it's mostly as a break they either protect a weak backliner from a tracer or whatnot and just keep on chucking as many whip shots as you can.
Yeah. The father gave you an example of ranked. One of the best ranked brick players in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something to look at. How he positions, how he responds. It's very high game sense based. He has a bunch of videos, so you can even go on his channel.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have. This Yeah. We'll leave it at this for now. I'll probably have more later. It's a good basis to start with. So everyone kind of knows what this is going to be about today.
Pretty much.
But we just wrote it down. So no excuses. Okay. Busan. Neutral, not too bad. We went with the right comp, right? Neutral on Busan, Sanctuary, Dive is a pretty good comp, and Spam is a pretty good comp. That means we chose a comp that counters the second best comp and would be equal in footing against the normal. So either way, our neutral rollout is here is a good position. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's something everyone has to understand, not just Ben, because if Ben fucks up, it's at least important. Anyone else in the team helps him a little bit. This is very specifically King of the Hill is all about timing. And when I mean timing, I mean understanding how fast you have to react. We react very slow. And there's win conditions. So how fast you can react to win conditions. Everyone understands that it's very important in King of the Hill that every millisecond counts, right?
Yep.
Every single decision you make is a difference between you winning or losing a fight. This is the main reason you struggle on King of the Hill. Decision making on the spot, so to say, like in the moment, like instantly be like, damn, we need to go for that. So you scout their comp. That's very important. So that means we have scouting information. That means we are doing what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
From around here, say you know what they're running. Around here. Right?
Yeah.
This is step 1 done. Step 2 is target, because they have some peel with the diva that has already gone to the point. This means step 3 would already be very aggressive. Everyone understands that, right?
Yeah.
You need to be aggressive here, you're playing dive. So rotation, they're already making it for you.
We're gonna be trying to dive this thing on stone. Where do we dive here? Very cool.
Think you're already too late.
But I mean like on their way, because like there's then I don't know if that would have been with. Oh, okay.
This is rotation you make based on what the enemy is playing. Drum is pointless in this scenario. You're both playing dive, so you don't care about drum anymore. It's whatever. Like you've taken drum, it's a very important part of the map to take. In neutral, the moment you've scouted what the enemy is running, we need to make a decision. And our decision here is to stagnate, which is what should never happen. In King of the Hill, this is the moment that counts most. And here the decision should have been, scout is done, instantly switch to the other 5 steps that we have. This is a rotation that we need to make in order to force their rotation, in order for us to do a harder soft dive. Everyone understands it, right? This is all extremely fast momentum. Like this all has to be done in milliseconds. That is what differentiates you between a good team. For example, how they played against you on Oasis. They completely outplayed you. That was just pure using their comp against you, and you didn't know what to do. That's why we're very much going to discuss these rotations, because this is a rotation that you make based on what the enemy is doing and how the enemy is playing. The enemy is setting up around here, so that means this area of space has been taken. This space is now theirs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've taken it, but we need to dive. We're a hard dive, and we've identified a target to hard dive. That also only means that we need to stage in order to execute a hard dive. But due to the fact that the Zen is now already rotating all the way there and going to be here, he's too far away for us to reach him. Which already means we're in a pickle.
Yeah.
That means we're gonna feed.
I think he's rotating around. We get look at go for.
They're taking the precaution of playing very far away due to how we're playing. Here I initially thought that at least Josh was gonna make the rotation. But even then it's kind of risky for him to go alone. Based on what they have, like the D.Va could just dive him and then he would be fucked.
I think Zen's
I'm gonna go
back
for
right,
point
but
pressure.
Zen's with D.Va back right.
So in this scenario,
Ball coming in, ball coming in.
you can already see I am waiting for this area to be used. And you're still there. So you're gonna see this a lot. I just don't move my camera. Like this is what should have happened, and this is what didn't happen. So everyone understands, right? Like if this area of space is taken, we're not playing spam mode hard dive. We need to then take an area of space where we can execute our comp. And if we can't, and they hard counter us, that means we switch in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone understands this concept, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very important that in this scenario you understand how to win in the map without feeding too much, so to say. Obviously, you don't want to give them too much ults. So here you're just fighting.
We're gonna be trying to die the Zen on stone.
All D.Va's
Versus
playing.
Stone.
I think he's
Oh,
rotating
you're
around.
taking
We're
really
gonna
long to
go for
rotate.
point pressure to start with.
Echo's still
And if
so.
Echo has used a
Yeah,
shift, that's an ability. We're still sitting. We're just sitting.
Zen's
I'm gonna-
Also, our Tracer should not be there. Tracer is a flanking hero. She rarely goes for the team. Tracer plays around where the team wants to play, so that means Tracer would hold down main. And from main, she would go on this area flank, and then you would be in the position to go on that Zen already. It's just the team never made that decision, and you retreated to your team. So for
I went
Tracer,
back to my team. I was getting poked by their tracer and there was no mini or anything, so I wanted to get healed.
here, there's a Mega over there.
Okay.
And okay, not okay, this is something you should know. Like, I'm not gonna go over bronze things. You don't even know where Megas are, that's a big problem. There's a Mega over there, and you would use that to your advantage, right? There's a mini over there as well, there's a mini over here.
I mean, I felt like my team is so far away that if I get caught out now, then
Yeah, but what did I say about Tracer versus Tracer?
if it tracer 1v1ing, then it's 5v5.
Exactly. You've done your job.
Go for point
Right now
pressure.
you're not doing your
Zen's
job.
with D.Va back right.
Cool.
Right now you're just
Ball coming
chilling.
in, ball coming in, ball coming in.
You're still going for this all angle here, but in the end, we're the ones getting dived. We're the ones getting dived when they have bricks, and that means they have low healing. So they don't even care about the fact that we could bubble off their dive. But we're playing hard dive, so we don't care about it either, because we shouldn't be the ones getting dived. Simple, right? This is just a simple concept of understanding how your comp works, understanding how the enemy comp works. So if you see low healing, you should already be like, okay, that means we have to play very aggressive. Or we go spam. Those are the only two options you have, there's no in between. Echo and D.Va can deal with Pharah, so that means Pharah is not an option. That'll most likely mean you mirror the Echo. But we have Tracer Doom, so we don't even care about that in the first place. We just care about enabling our Doom so that the break can't peel for that. That is our win condition, right?
Yeah.
So in such a situation, you should be enabling DPS, something we've spoken about a lot. But we should be making rotations to enable our win conditions. Right now we've given up the point. 20 is in alone.
On the break,
We're diving pretty much nothing.
on the break.
Break on point, break on point, break.
And then, how are you gonna win this fight? You're diving the tanks. You will not win a fight if you dive the tanks. That is not your win condition.
Break on point, break on point.
Break. I want break.
Because this guy now gonna pop off. So if we were to be over here and then rotate here, we could easily dive that, right?
Yeah.
So this is all about rotations, understanding map geometry, understanding enemy win conditions, our win conditions. Our win conditions are literally, we have a Doomfist, we have a Tracer. Those two need to be enabled. Okay, Tracer versus Tracer. Okay, now our Doom needs to be enabled. How do we enable our Doom? Well, we need to dive. How do we dive? Well, they have a brick. The brick cannot stop our Doomfist. We need to stop that brick before she does. So that means you're diving the target you want, which is the Zen, and you're making sure that the brick can't peel for the Zen. Because the moment you've gone for the Zen, you're pretty much already safe, because then all Josh has to do is follow up. So that's a very basic concept of just understanding your own win conditions.
Break off.
And this all had to be done in milliseconds. Like, you don't have time to think about this. Like, you just have to do. There's no thinking here. Obviously right now we're still scrimming 4.2, and that is obviously not our goal, but we're still doing that. And you now see the difference between understanding how to enable your comp and how the enemy enables their comp, because they're enabling their Zen. The brick is in an area that covers around the area where you can go to dive. The D.Va is literally in between it. So they are covering the Zen is safe. The Zen can do his thing, he can discord, he can go off. The Tracer is looking either for Tracer versus Tracer or covering one of the flanks, and the ball is independent. And then they still have an echo. That's too much value just by allowing them to just do what they want. So that's how you fundamentally lose a fight. But you're not understanding how you're gonna turn this around.
Since this.
You all understand that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is something that has to change. This is like the core concept of King of the Hill issues. It's just understanding how to rotate, how to stay together. Because an example I'm going to use later is how we don't stack with Brawl. Because we don't. Or how we don't know Mei wall theory and we just press W and then, oh, we're walled. What do we do? Well, we're walled, so we can't really do much. Destroy the middle pillar and Pennant is dead. That is our current thought process behind it, right?
Yeah.
Just don't DM me cuts. I'm gonna ignore that. No time for that now. So that is just this map. Because after this map we switch to the Pharah, but I already explained Pharah is not the choice right now. It just isn't. We cannot
Is
play.
Doom any better because they have a Zen? Because I feel like Echo also kind of shits on a Doom.
Yeah, but what did I just fundamentally explain on what a team should do in order for you to do your job?
Enable, make space, pressure the targets that will screw up my dives, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So in this scenario, if the tanks went for Zen, the D.Va and Brick went to stop, what stops you from then going in?
Nothing.
So fundamentally, do you feel like you can then still do your job?
Yeah, I could probably do it then.
That is like the core issue. Yeah, the entire team has to, well, think faster.
Okay.
So then
You're just
obviously
pushing me into
the D.Va
this
just zones you out and, well, what are you gonna do? Like, there's not much you can do in this scenario.
And I'm on the Zen, I'm on the
To record some stuff.
Bongo, Zen's
We're gonna have to
bongo,
look
that's
at
great.
okay, let's
So here,
first up-
they have the old advantage. We're staggering, like 20 is staggering. He wants to see it, I can show him, but I'm pretty sure you know you staggered here 20.
Yeah.
And this is what comes then on the first section of your homework, right? Staggering, like
Yeah.
what value is your tracer gonna get if you stay there when the enemy already knows that you're there? Just look at enemy response. More and more people go there fully knowing you're there. More and more people start stacking up and looking for you. This is no longer 4.2. This is a level of scrim where they will literally hunt you down to your house until they're satisfied.
Considering use.
Understood.
But that tracer is enough. But you gotta realize that they've already completely covered the area that you're in. It's already done. You're just gonna stagger. Like, there's no value your hero is gonna get. One blink off the map, you wouldn't have ult fat and you would have been back for the fight. Simple, right?
Zen, Tracer, Echo, okay, flip. They're gonna have a lot of ultra then.
Then it's ult economy,
Zen,
and at this rate, we can't already win anymore.
bongos.
Like, enemy isn't stupid.
Then holding that.
They're just gonna ult economy us out, and well, Dizzy fucked up his bomb there, but it's whatever. Like, you can't win. When you're behind in ult economy, you just can't win against good teams. They will just rotate their ults and you're done. It's the end of the story. So then we come to ult rotations, and this is all in shot caller text. On what ult count is what to do with what ults, how to use ults, like how do you get value out of your ults. This is all ult theory. So you could just say the theory for this is for everyone. To just understand what your own ult does, which is in that shot caller text, and then understanding what to do with that ult on the spot. So not only do you need to be good at knowing what the ult does, you also need to be able to execute it at the moment you have to execute it. Everyone understands this, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds very complicated, I understand. This is gonna take a long time to master, obviously. But that's a level that we're looking to get. And then obviously, well, micro is also not the best, but that's something that everyone can work on individually. So then we have Mecha Base. Was this where they paused? Where they paused here? Here it's Brawl Theory. Brawl versus Brawl. So the enemy is kind of aware of the playstyle of the Anakri. That can happen. That can absolutely happen. How do you counter that? Well, it's very simple. What they did was this. And now you need to instantly respond to that 20.
Okay.
Not okay, because you didn't. Your team was dead by the time you responded. That cannot happen. You understand that, right? So just to show you what actually happened here. The D.Va counters on, everyone knows that. D.Va can take care of that. So D.Va goes right, waits for a tree. This is pure team coordination, and they send in the healers. So this is a direct counter to my strategy. Well, it's not really my strategy, a lot of teams do this. So it's a direct counter to this strategy.
Lucio.
What are you gonna do? You're there, D.Va is already covering you, you're for your Kree versus Square. Kree, only choice you have here is instantly go back to your Reinhardt. D.Va will zone you out, there's nothing you can do. Your off angle is gone.
Okay.
Like, the main job that a D.Va or Reinhardt or whatever tank you know, their main job is making space. Their D.Va has said, this is mine, and if you've got a problem with that, you better use your own tank to deal with it. Simple, right?
Yeah.
So here, you have two options. Instantly go to your Rein and hope for the best, or tell bandits, off angle gone, we need to go off. And with go off, I mean, this plan is cancelled. We can't do this anymore, they've countered our plan. So they have countered our strategy, and if they now wall us off here, we're fucked. So Bandit now has to do this. That is his only choice. There is no such thing as going in, because this rotation needs to happen. And if this rotation has happened and they may wall this in this area, Bandit is still fucked. So there's only real one choice, and that is communication between teammates. So here it should have been very clear. I am going to tell Bandit a simple thing, like we need a word for this or something. Use a word to instantly go, bam, plan cancelled. And this is something you have to agree on right now. I'm not going to make the word for you, I can give you suggestions.
Cancel.
Cancel. Is that good for you, Bandit?
That's when you're canceling the plan, right?
Yeah, it's cancelling a plan. Our plan in general is send Kriana on the off angle so that we control the off angle, and then you can get healing from here from our Ana. This is the same in Lijiang Control.
Cancel's fine.
But the moment this is contested by D.Va, that means those two are fucked. That is literally cancel the plan. We have a plan here. This is coach's plan. Coach's plan has been countered. We now need to move on to what our plan can be next. So that means from here on, the coach's neutral is over. You now take over a shot caller on what you can do. And I just give you an example. And an example is regrouping here, but then you have the danger of Maywall. So he would rotate back. Not an optimal strategy. But our other option is this one, and this is fine because you've scouted this, and this has been scouted by your teammate. He said cancel, and that means this is gone. That means you need to do something. The only real thing you can do is regroup to your Kree, and then everyone can stack together. And then you can't really get walled here because then everyone can just drop down.
Yep.
This is broad theory. This is difficult, obviously. In King's Row, you can have stuff like this as well. Like, for example, 20 goes on the off angle. He will do it by himself. Like, you two don't have to communicate this. But one person has to be like, I cannot go here anymore, and you will not get your Ana heals. And the fact that you don't get your Ana heals should be enough for you to realize that you're fucked. Right?
Yeah.
So what happens here is you're stabilizing. You're stabilizing. Josh gets walled, and you can just see how fucked you are. The D.Va has completely zoned out your Ana Kree, and their entire team has now decided to initiate. You're done. It's over. This is a lost fight. You cannot win this anymore. You all understand this, right? That this is not just the Ryan and the Kree. This is for everyone to understand how you cannot win this fight. Dizzy? Alive? Oh.
I'm guessing the Kree just went back because he knew that I can't do anything from where I am.
Yeah, the Kree and D.Va go there in the first place just to see if they can get value. And then Kree retreats to his Reinhardt because he knows that D.Va is enough to take care of that. This has been scouted. You are scouted. You are detected, so to say.
Yeah.
Your plan is now being cancelled by the usage of their D.Va, and there is nobody that can do anything about it. Simple as that. And then he turns around as well because he's done his job. He's not gonna poop our Rhine into their Rhine, and you're completely fucked. Now you're still trying to force this off angle, but you realize that we cannot win this. It's impossible. You cannot win a fight where the enemy has denied your own win conditions.
Yeah.
2, 1, let's go.
You're not gonna win this. I can go over this real quick. This is baiting strategy. So if you're gonna go in face first, you need to at least understand the enemy Mei and what he's gonna do. Simple thing said, there's a lot of options you can do. It is going here and then going back. It's going here, going under and there, or actually making the rotation. It's the baiting strategy that is usually covered here. The D.Va is usually scouting this. So at this area, you look up, see if anyone's actually scouting it. And then you have to make a decision. If he is, no, just make the rotation, fuck it. Because the Mei will not be in a position for you to stop your wall in, right?
Yeah.
But this is too predictable. It is way too predictable. It's too simple. And simple plans don't work. They just don't. Simple plans work in low GM. That's where simple plans will win you the fight. We're looking to improve on that. So here you have the baiting theory of this can go for any single map. You're baiting something like the enemy Reinhardt completely outplayed you, Bandit, at the end of the scrim. That is pure baiting theory. It is understanding, like here it's a team situation, but it's also 1 versus 1. So like understanding what your fellow hero wants to do, and then understanding what he wants to achieve. And if you can't read his mind, and he can read yours, you're done. There's nothing you can do. He will just completely outplay you, and well, that will be the end of your fight. So they catch you, obviously. This is not a 2K scrim.
Just back up.
So the most basic one, they will just cancel it. Because everyone knows the most basic plan. Again, most basic plan. You've gone all the way left. No baiting whatsoever, you're just going. And sure, now the team has to respond a little, the enemy team. But due to our positioning and not being stacked, and this is gonna happen. And this happened. You gave the enemy team enough time to do this. That's the biggest problem. Like you gave them the time necessary to instantly adjust to where you're going, due to the fact that you're not being unpredictable. You're being predictable. You're easy to read. And if you're easy to read, you will lose fights. So here, even here, you could have done this and then just went back. It would have been a bait. It would have been a bait of the enemy abilities or the enemy's initiation, so to say. And then you could go in again with an initiate wall. But either way, you're being unpredictable. You're letting them know you don't know what we're gonna do. But we do, but you don't. Because you could have even done this now. Enemy would have had no fucking clue, because all they saw was you do this. And then they would have to scout up here, but they never scouted this. And that's the biggest thing. If the enemy doesn't even scout this, it's a free bait. You can do whatever you want. So that's very important. So for baiting theory, everyone understands it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so what is baiting theory?
Anybody can answer? Or do you?
Anyone can answer.
Not being predictable, because otherwise it's not even baiting, it's feeding.
Yeah, but that is not
Could be.
baiting theory.
It could be like performing, not necessarily a rotation, but like committing something or committing, not even abilities, but like doing something that can try give you an advantage where you like get out their abilities or you force a rotation or something like that, and nothing, you know, you still keep all your abilities or advantages.
Yeah. So where does it fit in well, in this case, the 4 steps? The Brawl's 4 steps.
Would it be like around step 3?
Yeah.
It could be like between 2 and 3.
Yeah, that is exactly where it fits in. Like you need to win a fight. You know enemy resources. Your target is, well, in this scenario, taking space, because your team needs to set up. Your decision for making space has been the high ground. But how do you get to the high ground efficiently enough without the enemy being, haha, that was an easy read?
You bait out their wall and speed, or pretty much abilities.
Like in this scenario, if you did this, and the enemy Lucio used speed, then that's a win. That's a W. Because what does that mean for you now?
It means that we have an advantage if we have speed, we have momentum.
Yeah. So you can once again, as Reinhardt, peek here, see what they're up to. And if they decide to go here, and you see where the Mei is, that means now your Mei needs to war around here, we speed boost, boom, done.
Yeah.
You've baited something and it's gone according to plan. And then the next fight, for example, if you actually manage to lose this, you could do this again, only then go straight through. Enemy wouldn't know, you just did something weird. So they're not expecting, they're trying to read what you're trying to do. And if you don't suddenly do the full on W, they won't be 100% prepared. They'll still be around 70% prepared. But they won't respond the way they did here. Because here they just turned around, Maywell, nade, doom, done.
9-8.
And now you're all dead.
Rhino.
And obviously, gold economy is something that has to be discussed as well, but we'll do that later. They just keep reading you. You're just so predictable that the enemy is just like, this is easy.
Spam dive, yeah.
Or do you want me to go over the last fight? Because I can.
I think I understand it.
This is the same concept, like you're just going.
Yeah.
And when you're just going, you're simple. You're easy. Because everyone knows the just go. Everyone knows it. Everyone has seen the just wall in and we go. Like, that strategy is as old as this map is. Everyone knows it because Goats was meta when this map came out. So that is something to keep in mind. This map is a bit more different.
So spam
Let's
dive.
make a base done.
We want to make sure that we spam
Downtown.
especially like on the main.
So you do make a plan,
grouping up.
but here's map
Start
geometry
with
win
our
conditions, right?
regulations. I mean, sorry, first our abilities, and then we can look at diving on that. Okay.
Map geometry win
I'm gonna be
conditions.
playing from.
What is your defensive advantage if you are playing the Far Mercy Widow?
We'll probably be controlling high grounds in space, like just controlling. Like,
Yeah, the high ground, so that means don't give up the high grounds, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
And then
If we have high ground, they
they'll probably be
are very
running some
limited in where they can play
recombinants,
because
so
of
maybe
risk
we
of
can
dying to
just
Widow.
punish their
Yep.
Zen.
That's a very big one. Like that means that 20 you do actually understand what you should be doing, but it means your team didn't. Because they just dive you and you're dead. Boom, done. They don't even have a lot of heroes to deal with you, but they do it anyway.
Or even just
That is how simple it was for the enemy to just take care of our biggest win condition. So Ben, is your neutral here is fine. You've taken a lot of space and you're now in full control of scouting, right?
Yeah.
Diva's gonna join you.
Uh,
So Diva should be looking to go behind here. So that we control this area of space. This is ours, right? And then our Widow's gonna be up here. And then the Far Mercy will find his own space, right?
Yep.
They're going full left. And they're doing it organized. Trace is going all the way behind. They're scouting. They will find the targets. Dizzy gets out of position. So why are you out of position here, Dizzy? Tough luck. So basically Diva here is out of position due to...
I was rotating to go with my ball to dive, but
Yeah.
I guess I just gave up space. Yeah.
Because we're not playing for this. Where is our dive? What are we diving? We don't have dive DPS.
Mhm.
They do. We don't. They have a counter DPS support for it even. So we're not even looking to dive. We just want to control space. We want the high grounds. The high grounds are now ours. Josh is in position. There's 0 counters against him. He's gonna have a fun time. He'll be fine as long as his team doesn't fuck up.
Zen playing less out on Mega.
So in here, in this scenario, you have map geometry. Something I've said a lot before, but this is map geometry, right? Understanding map geometry, then understanding win conditions behind it, and understanding how to apply it. So the enemy is looking to deny your win conditions at all times. Like there is no moment where they do not try to stop your win conditions. That is high level Overwatch. They will always look to deny your win conditions. We don't even understand our own very good, so I'm not gonna go into how to stop enemy win conditions for now. I will stop at just understanding our own and enabling those for today. Because that should be more than enough. Unless you guys disagree.
I agree.
So just understanding our own win conditions then. So that means understanding map geometry and understanding what we're trying to achieve. This is for all 6 people. Everyone needs to understand. So that means Bennett needs to know that for now he's doing fuck all. Dizzy is out of position. 20 is in a decent position. Like he has a good oversight and can do basically whatever he wants. Josh is in a pretty decent position because he is far away from the D.Va. Plus, he has this cover just in case the Zen can like get an angle on him. So your DPS did their job. Your supports did their job. So who fucked up here?
Thanks.
Yep. Tanks need to understand how to enable their own win condition. So hard dive, you would now be in a good position, but you're not playing hard dive. If you did this rotation on Sanctuary with the DPS, that would actually have been a good rotation, because now you will be on such a high aggressive flank that if the enemy makes a rotation here, you can deny anything that walks in here, right?
Yeah.
So in that scenario, it makes sense. But here, it makes no sense. Like, you're not playing hard dive. You're looking to respond. And there goes your Widow. Like, your Widow was super dead. Like, your Widow just had a horrible time. They didn't even need a DPS follow-up on that. All they did was literally Hammond plus D.Va, boom, done. That is all they did, nothing else. No DPS, no supports, no Discord, just those 2 heroes, and now you're already losing the fight. Because one of your win conditions is now ended, high ground control. They have it now. They took it from you by force. So you understand, map geometry on win conditions, we need to enable that which we need to win. So just like on Sanctuary, and just like on Mecha Base, we had win conditions, we have plans, we have strategies. The enemy so far has denied all of them. The enemy took a long rotation and took their sweet time on Sanctuary in order to set up their heroes in such a position where you could not go for the Zen anymore. It was too late, and then they went into dive view, because they can at that moment. In Mecha Base, they denied our plan of off angle, and then they just went in hard on our front line because 2 heroes were cut off from that fight. And then here, they denied our high ground win condition, and they just responded to that by controlling now the high ground, killing our Widow, and us not responding to it at all. These are our neutrals in King of the Hill, where we have no clear understanding of the win conditions we have based on the map geometry and based on our own plans. So here, a shot caller, you're responsible for understanding why you call a comp, understanding why there's certain DPS that I want to be on this hero. Right, Bennett?
Yeah.
And then the other heroes need to have an understanding on why the shot caller has set this comp, what he wants to do with that comp, and understanding what they expect from their individual hero. So that means Brandon needs to know what to do, this needs to know what to do, these 2 need to know what to do, and then 20 needs to do what he has to do, right?
Yeah.
So these are individual jobs combined with win conditions and then combined with the map geometry. We have lost every single neutral. And here's your reason why. You're losing fights because you do not understand your own win conditions. So that's the biggest issue right now. So everyone needs to really focus on how to properly enable this, and especially the 2 tanks. So when we're playing hard dive, we play to dive. That means we need to be very aggressive. When we're playing, well, spam and like carry heavy dive, because well, Widow is mostly there to get picks. We are looking to control areas where those 2 can do their job. Unless it's a mirror matchup, obviously. But this is not a mirror matchup. And then on Mecha Base, it was a mirror matchup. And there, it's more about, okay, Brawl versus Brawl. And for that, you have an entire base bin on what each individual hero should be doing in order to win. And then your shot caller needs to understand what everyone has to be doing in order to win. Because the only call you made there, Bandit, was stabilize. It's the only call you made there, and it is not good enough.
Yeah.
So we're adding on this is cancel. so that if the coach's plan doesn't go through, we stop, right?
Yep.
So this is something I am now keeping you responsible for, 20. This is specifically on King of the Hill Brawl vs. Brawl. Like on Widowmaker, you're not gonna cancel anything. Like you have your own job to do. As long as you understand your job, everything will be just fine, right?
Okay.
So on this, what we're gonna add on is positions. So understanding where people have to position. The DPS did their job, and Brennan is just getting into a position where he can follow up on the tanks. So in general, if you were to do what I actually told you just now, then Brennan, you would have been here below the stairs.
Yeah, it's just that Bandit was calling to set up on point, so I was ready to help on point because that was. Yeah.
But there's already the biggest issue. It's map geometry. It's all on you, Brandon, but it's just on the shot caller in general. Like everyone needs to understand what they should be doing. If your plan is this, we're fucked. Because the enemy doesn't care. The enemy has decided we are gonna deny the win condition of enemies that run a generic Widow strategy on this map. Because Widow is very common. And they have just instantly countered that. Like they're just going for a denial of high grounds and we're done. And then for hard dive, it's literally be more aggressive. It's literally understanding how the enemy rotation, so how step 3 and 4 enable your comp to do their job. Because 1 and 2 is pretty okay. Like I hear you call the scout and I hear you call the targets that are usually accurate. But after that, it's kind of like, now what? So that's a big problem. And that's only one map. Off you. Your tower. Unless you want to discuss that entire map, but I believe I made it very clear. Because if you can't even win a neutral, you're already gonna be behind an ult economy, and then you're gonna experiment with heroes that don't really work. Church Soldier, it's interesting, but we had a good comp, and all we had to do was keep it up. And well, if you didn't have an explanation from this, God is a very happy person, right?
Wait, what?
The DMs. He likes DMing me. You as captain are responsible for this. Mid-map, that's something I also wrote in my notes. Since now a map is ended, I totally know how to fucking spell.
I was watching that.
So mid-map, what do you discuss? Well, generally you and Dizzy kind of discuss the right things. It's, what does the enemy do? Now you need to know, okay, what stops them? Now the biggest thing. It's the very big thing. Because it's only Bennett and Dizzy are talking. So the enemy has gone with low healing most of the time. That means our supports know they have low healing. Correct or incorrect, Daisy and Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah.
What does it mean for our team if they have low healing and we don't?
It means we survive a more prolonged fight.
What does that mean for a shot caller to use that for, Bandit?
It allows us to know that we can like pretty much prolong the fight as long as we're like holding areas longer, trying to force out their like not rotations, but like making them force out, like for instance on this side, forcing out a dive and just making sure that we can I don't know what the word is, but like survive it, I would say, and making sure that we're still like playing together and we're still like pretty much, as I said, prolonging the fight.
Yeah. But did you ever discuss that?
No.
So, did you just assume the entire team was aware of this? Because you didn't play like it.
Yeah.
So, because this is a pro performance scrim, me and Gut are gonna treat this like a tournament. That means we're quiet. I do interject here and there, but overall, not much from us to, right? Because that's how you are in a tournament. Like, you are not necessarily on your own, but you are responsible for yourself. Like, at that moment, we can't hold your hand. Like, we practice over and over and over for you to be ready at that moment in time to do your job. There's no two ways around that. That is, my goal is literally practice, 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 explain, make sure I explain the right way, and then if I see results in that, I'm satisfied. And in the moment you enter a tournament, sure, in OD I can be here, but I'm not gonna talk. Because I already spent countless hours making sure to get you where you were, and if that is not enough, I will take the blame for that. But in the end, it comes down to, this is what you should be discussing mid-map. Because I can just do this for you in scrims. Obviously, it's very easy for me. I can just look at the enemy count and be like, well, this is this, easy counter, boom, problem solved. Like, theory crafting is very easy for me. I can do this on the spot. Requires no real effort. But when you're in a tournament, you're not going to have that. For future goals, and I forgot to tell Got this, but I needed a team section under here. In the team section, what I need is long-term goal is a once a week performance sprint. Once a week. And the reason for that is I don't necessarily have to be there, but it's there to make sure that this, what I just discussed, gets made use of. So, what did we just discuss?
Pretty much how we deal with mid fights and like before, like mid maps and mid map, and what we need to be looking at doing.
Yeah.
So like assessing also what the enemy team does, assessing the current situation of what's happening.
Yeah. So that means if 20 knows that their DPS, for example, that tracer is always an off angle, never with the team. That is information that should be discussed in between maps. That is how you utilize your information in between maps. And sure, you can like take it easy, you can have fun, you can babble a little bit, as long as you discuss these few things and make sure everyone understands them. Because then you know, okay, so the tracer is always an off angle and it's going to do this. They never play Widowmaker, so they won't have a sniper, and we do. So that means they're going to be a bit more aggressive. But they have low healing. So that means we're playing for mid-fight, that means we're playing for distance, we're playing for space. We're playing to prolong fights as long as we can to ensure that we manage to win, right?
Yeah.
So that is something you should be have discussed in between Busan and Gibraltar, because then you would understand the comp a little bit better, because you have a breathing room in between maps. In OD, like Gut follows the rules more than I do, but in OD, in between every map, you can take a break. When I was still a player, I used those. When we were losing, I literally called for a break after a map, because the OD rules allows it. And then I just discussed with the team, okay, I see this, but what does everyone else see? And then you discuss with the others, okay, so what I usually get back from information, okay, so my hit scan tells me he has no problem with the enemy widow, he takes city positions, and he never got value. Okay, good. But the problem was their supports were being super aggressive and constantly in the backline. And I wasn't really too aware of it. But after we were aware of what they were doing and how the enemy specific people played, we started countering that. We started countering their very own playstyle. That's how you see reverse sweeps That is literally how reverse sweeps happen. Because if you analyze in between maps how enemies playing and you start countering that specific playstyle, they can't do anything anymore. Because that's their playstyle. That is how they behave as a person. You start reading that your enemy. They did this very well against you. Because Ben and I don't have to tell you how hard you got outplayed at the end. They were very used to how you play. And when an enemy is used to how you play, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, there is no two ways about it. Like, if you're in a tournament and the enemy has fully understood how you play, boom, done. Game over. You're now gonna lose. It's why Bumper was one of the best Reinhardts in the world during last year's Overwatch League. Because he was unpredictable as fuck. This guy is everywhere. Like, you can't read such a person. And that is what, like, some people called him a Plat Reinhardt. But his game sense was just so super high that he had a team behind him that allowed him to play like that. And that makes everything super unpredictable. And that's how Vancouver Titans was so difficult to defeat. That is the type of Reinhardt you should aim to become. An unpredictable Reinhardt.
Okay.
Obviously, we're gonna go into more detail on that later, but that's for micro. Like macro, not so much. But that is literally an example of how you use your enemy against themselves. You win by utilizing their flaws, so to say. You see it a lot in Tier 2. It happens a lot in Tier 2 because everyone knows each other. And then you have coaches literally trying to fix those flaws so that it becomes harder to deal with. Like, it's a very complicated scene in Tier 2. Tier 1 is a joke, everyone knows that. So, with that information, if you had that information on this map, right after Busan, what would you have done?
The information that they had no heals, or like very little heals.
Yeah. Or that the Tracer was like being crazy and literally got no value, because we're on a comp that is extremely hard to beat with the comp they're playing.
Yeah, but they did.
Yeah, because, well, I'll go over that later, but with the information you have a lamp, you have double main heal.
So then we want to make sure that we're keeping and holding our high ground, and like especially if they're like diving in, making sure you're hard focusing that target.
So you did understand, because automatically you did hold blue box. That is just integrated into your mind. But you also need to understand why you're holding the blue box and why you can't give it up. So that's integration, just like on Busan Downtown. You need to understand what it means to hold high ground control and how it enables your team. So some teams run EMP Nanoblade here just because good teams make it so that it's impossible to capture first point. So they pull out EMP Nanoblades, they play for the ults, and the moment that shit comes live, well, what are you gonna do? It's an EMP Nanoblade. You're dead.
Yeah.
That is one of the strongest ultimate comps in existence in Overwatch right now. That is how severe it can be just to capture a point like this. But they don't need to, even though they struggled. Like, you almost full health them, so you start inting. But the core concept was there, right? So this is the only time I'm gonna see Mr. 20 uses Venom Mine.
Echo, Diva,
And it's a good one, 20. Like, this is a good one. Over here, pretty nice. If this gets destroyed, you now have information on that area, and you can now turn around and see what's up, right?
Yeah.
But if there's an enemy tracer over here,
I put my Venom mine like by the mega door on the catwalk.
yeah,
So when the tracer was on that side, I tried to shift it. And it hit him a few times.
yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna send almost our entire team into one tracer. Not very smart now, is it? So scouting is done. First fight is gonna go pretty decent. Like, they're gonna spam now, right? So the spam is there. They have an Echo. They're playing kind of a bit of counter drive. because they have 3 people on card, so that makes sure that the card goes very fast, because 3 people on card is the maximum for maximum speed. In case you didn't know that. And now they know now, like, this is a problem. Your comp is an issue for them. They understand they need that blue box. And they don't really have the resources to take blue box, because they have low healing. So they're gonna farm some ult and they're gonna pressure it. But in the meantime, there's an off-angling Tracer all the way in the back, flanking like crazy. That can be a problem. Everyone understands it, right? Like a Tracer, one clip, a good one, can instantly fuck up any squishy. So that is something to be aware of. So we keep that blue box control, and that allows us to make sure the payload doesn't go further. Because now all you have to do, very simple, the concept of dropping down without abilities, pressuring payload, and then going back up. Everyone knows this, right?
Yep.
And then in the meantime, we have the pressure here. We have a mixture of spam and picks. So it's very hard for them to do anything. So they already back off. They just can't do anything. It's too difficult. That's how strong this comp is. And like I said, if you do EMP Nanoblade this, then, well, unless you have a god tier Zen like J. Jonak, you will not build the trends fast enough. Unfortunately. So here we're fine, right? Like, we have a lot of sustain, they don't. They're now staging. Do we discuss? Yeah, but do we discuss that they're staging Bandit? Do we discuss on what our win conditions are?
Wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Are you asking? What are you asking?
I'm asking, what is it that allows us to stop this from going forward? And what are they now trying to do? What they have been doing on Busan all the time?
Deny.
Oh, so, okay, deny win conditions. And our win condition would be controlling Hydra.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not going to go over deny enemy win conditions today, but you need to be aware of your own win conditions. And right now, you're mostly just responding. Like, you're aware, yeah, blue box is nice, but besides that, what else can we do? Okay, they have Tracer. We now have a full scout. Like, after 15 seconds, you see their entire comp. You press tab. Okay, that is enough information for me to now know what to do. So that means, start with, making it simple. And these two things. This is something that is going to be our main focus. This is going to be our purpose for next week.
Okay.
We're going to fully focus on enabling the win conditions of a comp that we're playing. This is the comp I gave you, so I know all of the win conditions. But did you ever ask me?
About what, the win conditions?
Yep.
I thought I understood them.
And that's the thing. You don't. You feel like you understand. But do you really? I'm gonna give you these comps in scrims. Like, I'm not gonna go into detail on how a comp is played in the middle of a scrim. That will take quite a long time. I'm not gonna hold your hand either. Like, either you ask me or you don't ask me. And if you don't ask me, I'm not gonna tell you. That is just the way I work. It literally means learn the hard way. That is my coaching style. It's literally learn the hard way. And obviously God Plus does help quite a lot. But look at this. Look at how slow you respond. Like, your team is literally carrying you here. Like, by the time you get in there, it's already done. You've done fuck all. We had no main tank, no off tank. Those two just responded. We lost our Torbjorn, and there is this thing called changing. in which case you could have made the decision on, we are strong enough here to survive, so we're gonna exchange backlines, and that means you drop down here. But we accomplish nothing here. Absolutely nothing. Like, Quent did his job, Josh did his job, and then, well, Dizzy did like 2 shots because that Echo was already pretty much dead. Do you understand how our win conditions need to be much more advanced than just you sitting around there doing nothing until you see something?
Yeah.
So this is something now I'm gonna break down to. So this is our win conditions. We have high ground control, we have spam, and we have a pick heavy hero, which is the Widowmaker. Especially with 20's mechanics, you can pretty much expect him to do stuff like this consistently, right?
Yeah.
So that means now you need to make a decision. Our win conditions are controlling these 2 areas and then stopping the payload from pushing all the way through. Our win conditions are also the usage of our abilities and making sure that we use the right abilities at the right times to make sure that we, well, if you fuck up an ability, you're fucked, basically. So it means lamp usage, it means Torps E, it means Venom Mine to ensure that the counters are done, it means nades, it means hook, so the 20 can get out here and there, it means your jump, it means your bubble, and it means the D.Va's boosters and missiles in case he needs to finish off a target. Those are all 6 heroes in your team. Win conditions, high ground control, and stopping payload from going all the way through, and ability management. That is a simplified version. I'm not going to go into the detail, that will take too long. That means you have 2 options to keep it simple. Counter dive or exchange. So we're gonna call this CD, counter dive, we're gonna call this exchange, X. Those are your 2 options. Your backline is pretty safe. Torbjorn, Bap, Anna, pretty solid. Unless they had a Torbjorn down there as well, you would now change. I will literally, like, if this was my decision to make, I will say, okay, boom, go down. Our backline is fine, I trust them. I trust my teammates. They will do their thing. And they did. But I would have made the decision right away. This is a millisecond decision. Instead, what we get is, how long do you sit there? Sure, we control blue box. And sure, bubble is good here because they use bubble. But they don't really care about bubble because they don't have heals. What are you bubbling? Mistake number 1.
Yeah.
That's understanding enemy comp, right? Like they're on point. Like you can see how many people are on point. But here, they already did the dive. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So it takes you about 5 seconds before you finally decide, maybe I should do something. That's too long, right? 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That's a lifetime in games like this. So here you could have killed the Zen, could have killed the D.Va. Lots of things you could have done. And even then, well, thank God you have a turret, he'll do the work for you. So this is the value of our tanks. Not even mechanics, this is pure game sense. Purely understanding what you're supposed to do. Fuck me, does this take a long time? 2 hours back meeting. I still have 3 pages to go.
What I was thinking is I'm jotting down all the notes here anyway. I'm
Yeah.
on about 4 pages of notes. I think maybe cover another topic. Maybe if you want to finish it off, let everyone then grab something to drink and whatnot, like a 15-minute recess,
Okay,
and then push through.
yeah, that can work.
Because I'm about, like I said, 4 pages of notes laying it out, so I'll work with it as it goes.
It's like I said, today I made a fuck ton of notes.
Yeah, it's important. It's a good foundation that's needed.
Yeah.
Is everyone mentally keeping up? Because this is a lot of information. So you need to say if you've got overload or whatnot. Like it's a lot going on. Josh?
Der Sense da uns. Fußball.
Also silence. It's also why we recorded.
I had to find the mute key that I used. Yeah, I'm
No, that's
fine.
You're fine. Okay, Bandit, you alright with mental pressure?
Yep.
Dizzy? Okay, he's timing. I'll let him go with that. 20.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Lazy, you alright?
Yep.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
Well, most of you all went over tanks so far. But everyone needs to understand these concepts. Like, this is not just a tank thing. Like, everyone needs to understand what they... And the entire team should be doing, basically. And in the end, it's not your responsibility to make those decisions. It's just your responsibility to understand what the team is trying to do. That is literally like, as 20 as a Widowmaker, he doesn't have a comm roll. His job is literally clicking heads. But how does he click heads? Like, what does he need to click heads for? He needs space. He needs a certain amount of information, so he needs some scouting, and he needs to not have a lot of pressure on him, which relates to space. The same way, our Bab and Anna need to have cover, need to be aware of what the enemy's heroes are, to be aware of what can potentially kill them. Trace, for example. And then they need to be aware of how to properly utilize their abilities to survive. Because right here, your Baptiste has two options. Lamp the blue box in case it's necessary, or keep lamp for the team in the backline. That is just what the Baptiste is generally going to do here. He has his healing, long range, he has damage, pretty nice. So that means he can do two things at once. That means I expect a lot more than this. But overall, not too much of an issue.
Cool, when we go.
That's why I like this mod, because stats.
Bandit.
Stats are just something for me, you don't have to worry about those. This is just responding. The replacement was fine. Best case scenario, the Zen would take care of it, but even then they didn't, so turret gets value. This is something Josh is very aware of. Turret gets value as long as enemy doesn't focus it.
She's gone make.
She dropped.
Okay,
She's camping in spawn.
This is the division of resource. Dividing. How many people are now focusing one tracer?
Well, we have a respawn coming in, and we know the tracer's behind, so we do want to make sure that the respawn gets here.
Yeah, but who is that respawn?
Top. Wait, was Tracer actually spawn camping? I called it, but I wasn't sure.
Yes and no. She was like going for mini and just lurking.
She just wanted that area. She wanted that high ground control.
Yeah.
But it's a Torp versus Tracer. The Tracer has like a 0% win chance against that.
Yeah.
It's like a Tracer trying to beat a Reinhardt. It'll just be like, haha, if you come close, I hammer you. If you don't come close, me strong. Simple, right? So we don't need any resources for this. If it was an Ana, yes, absolutely. Have one person cover it. And that usually means the Diva.
Okay, so now everything.
Where's Tracer?
That's a Bab, that's an Ana, that's the Widow, that's the Torp. That's a lot of resources.
I mean, when I was doing this, I just thought I'm gonna get the tracer to. I'm gonna get the tracer to fuck off, and then I'm gonna go back because the enemy was still like respawning and
Exactly.
regrouping and stuff.
Doesn't matter. You have now rotated out of position, and if the enemy was any better, this is an opportunity for them.
Yeah, but the enemy is far away.
Not really. They could now take blue box. They are in a position to take blue box, and where are you? Our tanks have no healing right now. So I'll ask you again. Why are we investing so many resources in a hero that doesn't need any help? Silence is not
Just
an
so
answer.
bad.
It's not necessarily
Just
bad.
just bad.
This is all he has to do now is call this out. And that will be a reason for them to be like, because you gotta realize Artorp died after them, not before them. So that means if Artorp comes back, they will be back even faster. That's simple, right? This is a simple concept of understanding how respawns work, how the map is, like on 2CP it's different obviously, but how respawn work on a map like this, where everyone kind of has like the same kind of respawn, because the distance from their respawn and our respawn is about the same to Blue Box. So we're focusing this, and 20 has joined the fray. Well, they just press W.
Keep on pressure on them.
Look at how aggressive they are. If they were even more aggressive, it would have been even better. I don't understand why they didn't. But here, all they had to do was just straight up go blue box, and this rotation would have been awkward for everyone. Like, Baptiste coming awkwardly here, you're barely running back, and Trace could get in position, and Torb has used E, which is something Trace could call, so that means pretty much we're fine. But they do still go very aggressive. And they boop you off and everything. You see their aggression just because of your rotations. Tracer is nowhere near the fight, but they are this aggressive. You understand, right? Like, if you divide so many resources into one person you can't kill, enemy's aggression will change. That is a simple concept, right? Like, everyone understands that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if it was only Brandon or only Lazy that peaked, was fine. Like I said, one person is fine. Like, you sent Dizzy, if it was an Ana that came from respawn, one person is fine. You can invest one person to get one person back. That is fine. 4 people, no. That is not fine. That means there's only 2 people actually controlling the win conditions we need. Everyone understands, right? Like, our win conditions were very much not enabled in this fight. Because even now, Brandon is... Wall is around here, so that means Brandon has gone past the wall and we now don't have Ana heals.
I mean, I was just sort of keeping checks on her.
Yeah.
Just so I know where she is, because otherwise she's probably gonna fuck me up.
Yeah, but it's fine if you do that in between the corners so that you can still see this and see this. You committed way too hard there. Like, you're even hard scoping. No need for that. Then you can back out. It's okay, because healing wise we're fine. We have double main heal. But you do have to divide your resources. Don't invest too much into the Tracer and you're not gonna kill. Now, well, they do fuck up. Because they really struggled in understanding what to do against them with the low healing they had. That's the thing, right? Also understanding their low healing. Understanding that we can just play it out. So, it's called... Done. It was a simple fight. This is an example of the enemy messing up. Cover wise, as long as we keep blue box, you understand how difficult it is for an enemy to take it, right?
Yeah.
Monkey Diva, Echo.
And next fight. Right. Now what's gonna happen is... I'm actually gonna make Bandit explain this. Bandit, how does an enemy kite out of a Winston juggle?
How do... it could be making like... Not weird, but like... Yeah, like weird movements, for instance, like if you're walking towards him, or if you like, once you're getting juggled and like he doesn't keep you in the air. It can be boops as well, like other enemies booping, like teammates booping the Winston. And that's all I can think of.
Okay.
Oh, can I?
Besides, like other Winston's.
120.
You kind of like bait him in a direction and then immediately change when he uses jump and try to like. So he like jumps behind you almost.
Yep, that's a good one. It comes back to the concept of baiting that we just discussed on Busan. Because that's what it is, right? You're baiting the Winston to act according to how you want to then go the opposite direction. Because that will mess up his juggle, and that will mean you won't die. It's funny how you're the one saying this, 20, because who do you think is gonna die to a juggle?
Me.
Sorry. I died at the same time.
So once again, blue box control. Here you do need to bubble, like first fight you didn't put here. There's so many enemies trying to get up there that yes, you do need to bubble that. And then again, they don't really care about the bubble in general. They want your backline. They just want to make sure that you were away from here so that they could push in. That is denying of our win conditions, right? That's a simple concept, right? Like, you know, everyone now understands how they're now denying our win conditions. So again, we do follow up. Nade is pretty nice. Dire priority. Like, we're all over the place. Into words. So we've spoken about our win condition, we've spoken about baiting, we've spoken about enabling our win conditions and keeping those win conditions. So far everyone understands that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's been pretty clear how to enable your own team to make sure that you just keep it this way. So in this scenario, what the enemy did was pressure out the box to then dive. And again, your reaction is too slow, Bandit.
Okay.
Because you're just holding here, and you're like, I will respond when they actually do something. Whereas what you should be doing is, okay, what if I now drop down, no abilities, and then drop back up? Are you now predictable?
No, but I mean, normally they just boot me then. When I'm on the high ground with like no jump.
This person can do it, yeah, but there's no Lucio.
Yeah.
It's
Or like a
usually
D.Va
Lucio.
would fly into me.
D.Va's over there. D.Va gave up that spot pretty fast. In this scenario, you pressure, we have spam, we spam, we spam. We want a prolonged fight. Drop down. They now dive. If you now dive blue box again, you're doing something that I just explained. It's an exchange of backline. There's a big difference. Our backline is 10 times stronger than theirs. And they will need to commit ultimates just to get value. And even then it could be tricky. So you understand that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you now counter dive, I mean, unless you're gonna juggle the enemy Winston who has way more ult charge than you due to the fact that he just farm more, what are you gonna do? But they are now end-tied, and if you were now up here, massive value. Massive value.
Yeah.
And that Winston would now be by himself. It's simple, right? Like, you're reacting to your own win conditions. You're like, okay, so they want our high ground, but they have heroes that can't really do a lot about it. So if I just prolong the fight, because that's what we want, a prolonged fight, and then go back on the blue box to be aggressive, would you not have enabled your win conditions? Because so Winston is now by himself. Winston is alone. He's dead. That if a Winston is all by himself, cut off, nothing he can do.
And we're not. So if I go back up there, then I'm not like entirely giving blue box for free.
Yeah. So in this scenario, you lost your entire backline, they dropped down, like, they took blue box, they took the payload, they took everything from you. And the only reason they did so is because you gave up the space that we need to control. Because now if you had denied the enemy win conditions, which is going there, but that's not something we're gonna discuss. As long as you enabled your own win conditions, you would have been fine. So this closes the chapter of enabling win conditions. This is just a very good example of not doing that. Any questions about enabling win conditions?
When do I know if I should jump back up there or help the team instead? Is that based on what their comp is?
It's based on what their comp is, yeah.
Okay.
Because they can't be super aggressive. Can't.
Yeah.
So
like for instance, if they had a hard dive here, let's say they had a hard dive instead, then it wouldn't be necessary to jump back up in blue box because they wouldn't have anybody there anyway, unless they hard dive blue box.
You would be focusing counter dive.
Yeah, then I'll counter dive, yeah.
Exactly. But you don't need to counter dive here. They don't have to sustain. They don't have to sustain for your team to be up there, for their team to be up there. So you understand.
Hard dive,
so you understand that they don't have that. So that means we don't need to do this. Yeah? Because you do have sustain. You have two main needs. Two of them. That's a lot of healing.
Yeah.
They have a Zen and a break. Not so much. They are more trying for opportunities with the Discord, building ults, and the break is there mostly to just be a slave for the Zen. That is how they use it in Overwatch League as well. Like the break literally just protects the Zen. Kind of like how the Protect President was first introduced 2 years ago or something. Protect the President strategy.
Yeah.
Okay, that is kind of what it was.
So, yeah.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, so, what's like another example of a map? Because I just kind of want to make sure I understand it completely. Because I understand it here on this map, but like, if you had to take this concept and carry it across the map.
Could do Busan.
I already explained it on Busan Downtown. The high ground control win conditions.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
The same. So that high ground control would be that main high ground they where it normally sits, right?
Yeah, it would be. They don't have a widow.
Yeah.
We do. That means we need our widow to have space to do stuff. But they are not really running hard dive, but they are running something that can stop you from taking high ground if you don't control it.
Yeah. But in that case, then necessarily we would have maybe like the D.Va sitting with the widow then to like ensure that it's.
But that's why I point out the position of the D.Va, right? Like if the position, if the D.Va was in that position, one shift is all it needs to DM the Widowmaker, and if 20 was a bit patient, he could then proceed to hook out, and then you could potentially go in as well. It will be a counter dive to enable.
And then like so then as a ball, because of like my kit and what I can do, and I'm not playing Winston, I would rather look at doing the exchanging then, or like even just causing chaos in their backline so that they can't support.
Exactly.
Who's ever diving out.
And then you still have a far mercy.
Yeah, okay, cool. No, I understand.
So even if you do exchange, you have a mercy that can rest.
Yeah.
You wanted to say something, manager?
Yeah, because in that scenario, right, you were doing the counter dive would be done by your D.Va, but the ball is classified as his own unit. He's not in a unit, whereas a monkey D.Va, you're a unit. So that's why you can exchange and counter dive. Whereas if you're a monkey D.Va in that situation, you would have chosen counter dive over exchange to protect your high ground, which is your win condition. Where in this case, because you didn't have a strong backline there, and they had a hard dive team, hence the counter dive option was there. But in here, because you've got a strong backline and a relative frontline, you can choose the exchange option. Yeah, does that make sense? That's how I've got it in the notes. So
yeah.
And it's basically the same in Gibraltar, second point, third point, and Blizzard World. Like, it's just defense in general. And that's where defensive advantage also comes into play, right? Like, why do you have a defensive advantage here?
Because we control the high grounds. We yeah.
You control the space that this allows the payload to be pushed forwards.
Yeah.
That is just putting it simple. And you require very little resources to do so, whereas the enemy would require a lot of resources.
So normally on defense, your win condition has a lot to do with your defensive advantage.
Exactly.
Playing around your defensive advantage, okay.
That's also why I started with defensive advantage. It was Sunday and Tuesday. Then Thursday wanted to see some results, and now we're moving onwards to win conditions. Because I'm not gonna slow down. I'm just gonna keep going. If you can't keep up, that's on you. Because as long as my DM box is empty, I expect you to know. Simple, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that is just how I am. Like, if you have questions, you DM me, even outside of scrims, or you've had a scrim where I wasn't at, and you like got confused or something. Like, God can't explain this to you. These are very advanced type of things. So in that scenario,
I know that you was, yeah.
Like you will eventually have to ask me about this. And if you want an example, well, the last person asked me the question.
Not Chris, aka.
Like this. Like this is the support of Argon, build tracker. And Echo is not even his hero. It just isn't. He just wants to know what he should be doing around it. Right?
Oh yeah.
Like, he is not even asking about his own job. Well, here he is. But then
I was
this.
reading that, yeah.
So that is how you learn. Even if it is not even your hero. This is how you learn. Because I say this to set this to Argon a lot. You have to treat it like chess. No board is the same. Every single board you see on chess is different. Overwatch is the same. I can't train you for a situation because every situation is different. Every single person takes at least one different step than what you would expect.
Yeah.
All I can do is make sure that you understand how you play around most scenarios, so that if you do run into a bit of an unconditional scenario, you would understand what to do to enable at least your own win conditions. It's a very advanced concept, obviously, but it's something you do need to understand. Yeah. Even I don't know what level this is at. Like, maybe it's tier 2. I don't know. This is just what I expect someone to know. This is what I knew in tier 3, so that's your goal right now. If this is what you need for tier 3, then that's what I'm gonna teach you. Simple, right?
Yeah.
So this is for everyone. Like, sure, ability management and all that, I will continue to roast you for it, but that's all micro. Those are micro things. This is the actual game. This is the game you're playing. This is how difficult it is to win this game. Except if you're in Overwatch League right now, where everything is joke, but that's different. Tier 2 is still a very fun place. Lots of fun contenders games. So here, we got so split, denied our own win conditions, and we're just focusing all over the place. We're not gonna win this fight, are we?
No.
You gotta try. And when you look at the exchange of value, and you're kind of stabilizing, you do still have a chance to win. Still have a chance to win. Exchange of value has been had. Like, you can, even if you messed up the initial start, mid-fight you can still win. Now the question is how?
Well, if you're winning a fight that it could be lost, or like in general winning a fight, like
no,
even.
This one is so simple because I just explained your own win condition. Where is the enemy?
Or below, and then they've got a diva, I think, on high ground.
Yeah. You've
That's
already taken the first step to what you should be doing.
restaging or like doing the steps again, repeating it, going through each step.
We're just going back to high ground.
Is that not like part of the steps though?
Yeah, sure, but in this scenario,
Staging.
mid-fight, staging, yeah,
Okay.
sure, but it's more you
It's
going
more
back
like
to your win.
stabilizing.
Yeah, it's a stabilize to your own win conditions. So why do you need to sit on the payload here, Josh? You don't. There's nobody pushing. And why do you need to dive to Zen? Why did you feel responsible with 25% health that you need to dive to Zen? What reasoning was there behind it? Because you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You're dead. Josh got himself low due to positioning. Because he decided, I need to touch the payload even though there's nobody on it. 20 desperately tries to blink into your suicidal actions. Just imagine, right? What if Josh decided to do this, 20 went here, you're here, and they now decide to contest the point. That is 3 heroes that can kill people. And in case you didn't know, your Baptiste is also there. So not only can you now dive an area in the line of sight of your healer where he can heal you, and he even popped an ult, you will still enable your own weakness because you don't even need to use an ability to drop down here, do you?
No.
Neither does the Tracer. Like, the Tracer will still have everything to do something. So here, you lost due to, I wouldn't really call it greed, but just not understanding what you need to do to hold your defensive advantage. Because you just gave it up. You gave up your defensive advantage. You just did. That is just, you can make it harder than that.
Yeah.
And now enemy comes, and well, because we already entered and you died from that, 20 had to lose a lot of resources for that, Josh had to use a lot of resources for that. It's already far too late to still try to turn this around. Whereas if we stabilized, had high ground control, like Lazy could have even gotten himself on high ground here. Like, that was a possibility. The option was there.
Yeah.
That's what you have to keep in mind. That is just for everyone to understand. Because Lazy should have just gone high ground here. Like, he popped an ult on the low ground. Yeah. Yes. But what if you were on high ground? Would have been easier to attack that Zen. Would have been easier to heal your teammates. So it's not just one person, it's just everyone's individual decision making. So Josh's decision making, 20's decision making, your decision making, Lazy's decision making. All of that leads to denying your own win conditions. And if you do that, you lose. You lose if you do stuff like that. You will die. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's how you lost that fight. So even if the initial part was wrong, because it was, when I said you had to drop down and then jump back up on blue box, and with the anti that Brandon did, would have been nice. Like if you communicate that as well, like I'm looking for Nate, dynamic call, something that you should be doing, Brandon. You would have easily gotten value out of that. Instead, this is the destination that we encountered, and that is what made you lose it. So I just explained to you the defensive advantage, your win conditions, and what you did to not achieve those win conditions.
I mean, I do call my antis, but are you wanting me to call it like
I'm looking
before
for
I
it.
do it? Like I'm looking for it.
Yeah, it's a dynamic call. I'm looking
I'm
for
always
Nate.
looking for it though.
Yeah, but then say so. Because Bennett sure as hell isn't responding to it.
Okay.
It's communication between teammates. Like if you are always looking for it, well, is your shot caller aware that you're always looking for Nate? Are you, Bandit?
I don't know.
No, I'm not really thinking about that though.
Exactly. Like your shot caller thinks about other things, Brandon. It's fun that you're thinking for yourself, but your shot caller is the one that makes the decisions. And he is not going to think about what you want to do. He doesn't have time for that. That's too much information.
I was just more asking because like
Yeah.
I'm always like, how do I call that? Because like I'm always looking for it, and if I
Yeah.
see an opportunity, I go for it. But like,
That's literally just
Like,
looking for
it's
Nate,
kinda
and then
difficult
Bennett
to-
will respond. It's the same with how Reinhardt would say looking for Shatter. That will be a dynamic call for the entire team to be like, okay, our Reinhardt is looking for Shatter. That means we need to follow up on that Shatter in case it happens. But it also means it doesn't necessarily have to happen. It's something he's looking for. That's simple, right? Because Bennett obviously presses Q a lot. It's nothing. But he never tells anyone that he's looking for it. He just says, I'm gonna Shatter. Boom, Q. Oh, hit a shield. That happens.
Looking for Shadow
Okay,
Boys. Ah, never mind.
So when I think an opportunity is going to come up, I should call that.
Yeah, it's a dynamic call.
Okay.
Your ability can turn the tides of a fight. Because they already have low healing. If they get antied, that means they have no healing. That means we do not need a bubble unless we take too much damage. But we have too many healers. So everyone understands, right? Like if there's a lot of healing going into you, you're fine. They have known. They do have some damage, so that means resource-wise, we don't necessarily need our bubble until we actually take some serious damage. Resource-wise, we don't really need our DM until our DM actually needs to be used for something useful. That is a division of resources. And this is all split second, like I'm deconstructing it now for you. But these are all split second decisions, and if you're not communicating with one another, you're never gonna have a chance to properly function as a team. Because you're just gonna do individual stuff, and then what? Like, what do we achieve from doing individual stuff? Nothing. Since it's so quiet, we achieve nothing. Well, you achieve this, and I don't think you want to achieve this. Second point, third point, it's kind of the same, long passes as well.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sum it up here because I feel like everyone is kind of dozing off. I'm just gonna discuss our offense, because then we once again have our win condition, right? We got full hold. Like everyone knows that. We got full hold. Period. So this is a very basic strategy. Not necessarily basic, but it's kind of the strategy I like most. It's a strategy that is simple at its core, but difficult to execute. At its core, it's very simple, right? We sit on card, we go through. Simple concept, right? In reality, the win conditions are much more like you're forcing the enemy to respect what you're doing, you're forcing the enemy to understand that you have a fuck ton of damage, and you're forcing the enemy to understand that they can't dive you. They just can't. It's too much damage. In this map, we play Widowmaker. If the enemy doesn't have Widowmaker, that means we need to switch to McCree about 10 times faster, 20.
Okay.
Like, what are you gonna do with Widowmaker? Like, what is your target? Zen? They're never gonna allow you to get close to that Zen. Or at least have a line of sight on that Zen. It's not gonna happen.
Okay, so just to confirm, Widow on attack here is only to counter
Widow versus Widow.
Widowmaker.
Yeah,
okay.
it's kind of to take care of enemy sniper. If they don't have one, then it's whatever. If they have like bunker, for example, you could still go Widowmaker. It means that they can't dive you.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, it's still possible. Bunker is a pretty weird comp on this map, but if that's the case, it's still okay to go Widowmaker because it means you can go on an off angle. For example, if Payload is here and you then go here when they're sitting here and they don't know that you're doing this, pretty nasty. But that's just an example.
Oh, they debated.
They tried to on campus, but like I said, not gonna happen. Our damage output is way too high. Plus we have the kite. Plus we have the peel. So we're pretty fine. So we can take high ground if necessary with our tanks, but we can also counter dive. We can take space if necessary with our tanks, and then we have two long range healers. One is the Ana, one is the Brick. Some people really underestimate how much healing Brick can do on long range. It is quite a lot. Never underestimate that. So Brick, you don't only play for peel, you also play it for that long range heal. It's very critical. Like that armor pack that you're gonna get in the middle of a fight. I don't know if you ever noticed it, Bandit, but it saves your life quite often.
That's how I'll get away with feeding.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like they still try to do something against you, but look at how much they already back out. They are like, fuck. This is not a good idea. They still go for it, but they just know this angle is so difficult for them. But here, we already need.
The ball dies, right?
I think it does.
The real thing is here, we needed a Kree already.
Flip, you got away with that.
Yeah, he just went into the Mega and problem solved.
Oh, it's my bad. I didn't even know that the Widow was purely anti-sniper.
Yeah, that's why it's fine. Like, otherwise, you should have taken a much more aggressive angle when their team did this. You should have already been here, because you know, okay, so they're gonna dive here. That means I now need to cover this area. But you didn't. You just sat there and shoot at the ball. Well, then you might as well not play the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
And then in general, either way, like they have a Tracer, they have a Zen, they have a Break, they have Ball. Just go Kree. It's just way better. You can easily take care of the Echo as well. Like it's just way better. Like Kree is just a better option here. Like I said, Widowmaker on this map is still pretty good. Just not against this. Like the only real target you're gonna shoot is the Zen, who has a constant babysit. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're never gonna see the Zen. The Zen is like you're trying to get him, but he's not playing in that line of sight. He's not stupid. This is not low SR. This is the type of team you could run into in Monkey Bubble. They will literally just outplay you. They don't give a fuck. They're there to win. But either way, we have way too much damage on the payload, so we can push. We push problem solved. 20 doesn't get a lot done, but that's whatever. So our win conditions are literally push the payload and counter anything that comes near it. Simple, right? It does mean, Josh, you need to be on the payload. I know you're bad at sitting on payload, because we discussed that. But you need to be on payload. This is all pretty fine, right? Yeah, that's fine. The problem here is that, like here, and he now switches to Kree. But the problem is now that if that D.Va had half a brain, he would hard commit on our Kree, and the Kree will be dead. Just a small thing. He said he does this.
I was very lucky that the Zen didn't care about me.
Yeah. First fight was fine. This is the one. This is the one. So our win conditions are pretty simple. And the reason it works is because it's just very hard for enemy teams to do anything about this. That's just the way it is. Like the only real way you're gonna deal with this is if you either spam this out or you're actually gonna brawl it. That's the only way they're gonna do it. But for a team to realize that, it's extremely difficult. Even Overwatch League would struggle making that decision on the spot. Obviously, when you scrim more and more teams see this comp, obviously at one point we're gonna get countered. But due to the fact this is pretty, it's like an alternate version of Pirate Ship. It's very much similar to Pirate Ship. Just more win conditions. So I like win conditions. 2 minutes 40. Gold economy, not really a problem. How can we possibly lose this? We have blue box, we have payload control, and our Torp should now be on high ground, but it's whatever. How can we lose this? Nobody?
Well, if you play the video, you'll see.
Unless you're living in focus.
Zamayo.
Yeah.
Even Maya wouldn't dare to do that in this situation, but
What? What?
being sarcastic. This is a serious situation. I'm asking a serious question, you give a serious answer.
We don't keep track of their ults and then we stick close together and die to like Hammond mines or something.
Yeah, possible.
Split focus.
We don't play for our win
I think it
condition.
was
We
split
don't-
focus.
We don't take map control.
Okay.
Wait, is my
Are
position
you
bad
sure
or is it
anything,
okay?
if you
It's okay.
do need to-
Brandon's position is even
I'm
better.
gonna go for a recon test.
And fuck the blue box, says Bandit. Who needs blue box? Overrated.
Diva coming, Diva coming, Diva on point, Diva on point, Diva on point.
This was not a good idea, thinks Bandit now.
So should I stay on blue box?
I'm just gonna show you something.
Okay. Big guy. I get it now.
There's a reason I make this. Not just for fun. It's to actually use it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's why you have to experience all these situations in order to actually do something about it. But if you as the shot caller are the first person to fuck up, that becomes a problem. And then we use a fuck ton of resources just to survive that initial dive. And then they just fuck us up. So this is pure shot calling. Shot calling where there are answers to. It's on text form, on a paste bin that you have access to.
But do we, in that situation, to properly play around that, we have everyone set up and we just leave Diva on the cards?
Exactly. I just said it right, like Brandon, very good position here with the turret. 20, very good position there. Josh could have gone here on the high ground. And then it kind of depends where Brick wants to go. Brick most likely wants to stay here with Diana. And then you will be on payload and we have blue box control. Now it would be very interesting if they actually went in and minefielded this area.
Yeah, because then I can just fly out. And then
Yeah. And then
take
all we have to
advantage.
do is look for enemy to use resources, and then we can dive their resources.
Would this also be in turn like a way of baiting? So for instance, we're leaving them on point because, like, for instance, the ults they have, so we're baiting them to use abilities to commit to point,
Yep.
and then now
It's step
we have
1, 2, and
advantage.
3.
Cool.
Your target here would be to force out enemy ult. Why would you want to force out enemy ult? Because it zones too much area and our dive does not like that. Simple, right?
Yeah.
And from there, yeah, it's kind of a bait, but it's also just a plan. It's a
Yeah,
plan
yeah.
to just be like, we need enemy ults to be used. Still have 5 fucking whatever. 4 pages left. Well,
I'm gonna have to catch them
Another
out some of the time.
another
Yeah.
time. It's a good video to start with. I'm pretty sure most of the people are already asleep because the only person still talking is Ben and everyone else is like, my brain hurts. At least that's what I feel like.
I was quiet when my internet was being weird. Because I had like 10-second delay on my words.
You can hear it.
I did explain the situations for you, so.
Are we wrapping it up here then?
Yeah. This is because we get full hold here due to the same reasons. Like the initial start of our plan was simple: payload, push forward, and then we use map geometry to our advantage. It's just how we then proceed to follow up on everything that comes around it, which is our ultimate resources. And I already told you, this point is extremely hard to take. And if they allow you to just get those high guns for free, you need to make use of it. They are going to recontest. They will. So,